Hi guys, here is Lisa Bengtsson, and today I have the pleasure to talk to Steve and Chasissa Bowman. They are authors of several books, and one of my favorite ones, I have to just show you guys this one. It's called Leading from the Edge of Possibilities, No More Business as Usual. Hi guys.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi, and I have a topic for you guys that I would love you guys to address, and it is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And what do you guys have to say about that? What do you
Most
Hmm?
people don't actually create their future. They just go on autopilot mode and think that the future would actually happen. They just expect it to be better. They expect the future going to be better than the one they have, and that's not the way of creating the
I think the
future.
other part of that too is that the future is a creation of a whole lot of choices that have happened leading up to any particular point in time. And so if people realize that creation of the future is just simply by the choices that you make here and now, then you start to realize you're creating the future when you make choice, when you actually choose. And so one of the great things that we invite people in business to do is to constantly choose. Not do things because you feel you have to, but just choose things that are going to look at what this might be like in 5 years' time if I were to do this. Not the specifics, but how would my business be like if I chose this now? What would my business be like in 10 years' time if I chose this now? And not getting into the detail of it, but just to feel the energy of this choice that I'm making, is that going to help create the future? And it becomes really obvious and really clear when you're doing something and the choices you're making are actually keeping you stuck in the past. So one of the great tools that we invite people to look at is to say, well, what do I choose now? 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 Because every choice creates the future. And if you don't like the choice, change it, because it's just a choice. And so one of the great gifts that anyone in business can do is to realize that if you function from choice, nothing is fixed and everything can change when it needs to change. So creating the future to me is very much about understanding everything is choice and choosing constantly.
That is brilliant. It's really interesting because a lot of people do not want to function from that. They want to basically be safe in what they're choosing. If I can figure out if it will work, I will choose
And
it.
that's what we mean by predicting the future, because people want someone to tell them the right answer,
Yeah.
so that they know that when they choose that, it's going to be okay. What if there's no such thing as okay? What if there's just like it's different possibility that you can keep on choosing to create and generate different possibility in your life, not just finding one right answer and stick by it.
That would be amazing. It would be very different how we create a business from as well. So how do you look if you're working with more than 2 or 3 people when it comes to choosing? Do you see any things that you can be aware of how to choose in that way?
Well, one of the things, I've had very large staff during my career, and one of the things always is that sometimes staff think they're looking for consistency and they're looking for certainty. So there's your first challenge as a leader in any organization, is to actually get them to consider different possibilities. It's not about certainty or knowing exactly what it is that we're doing. It's the excitement of constantly creating. Now, some staff won't like that. Okay, then you work around them, right? But you get together the staff that do actually understand and celebrate that everything is choice, everything is possibility, and hopefully they'll be your senior executive team. But in all of this, you can talk about it till the cows come home. Being it is what sets the tone for the organization. So if as a leader in an organization, or the leader of your team, or the leader in your department, if you're willing to be this, everything is just a choice, which means that you understand what everyone's saying, you understand what the form and the structures are within your organization, and you still choose. So rather than feeling you have to do something based on what the organization's telling you or what other people are saying, you're aware of that and you still choose.
Consistency kills innovation. If everyone thinks that they have to be consistent with everything, then they won't start looking at what else is possible, because consistency allow them to be feeling in the comfort zone, and they will not change until some crisis or something happen. So if, as a leader, if you create it as a philosophy that instead of consistently doing exactly the same thing, being in the question, is this still working? Is there anything that we need to change? If it's not working, what can we do different that will create different possibilities?
One of the great questions to ask as a leader of people is to sit down with your team and say to them, okay, so what might this be like in 5 years? Let's extrapolate. Let's just, get out there. What could this potentially maybe perhaps be like in 5 years? Now, what do we need to change today to help get to that? And then if you do that on a regular basis, then what you're constantly looking at is, well, what else can we add? What else can we change? What else is there that will actually create a different future for us? Because the one thing we know about the future is we don't know. What we do know is that the choices that we make today create the future of tomorrow.
Yeah. And these are also good questions when you have your own business. Really to ask yourself that constantly so you are in the change that is possible for your own business as well.
Absolutely, and particularly more important with your own business, because sometimes you don't even realize that you're not changing, that you're not willing to change, because you get into the comfort zone. Okay, this is fine. And look, don't get us wrong here. That's okay if that's all you want. And if that's all you want, you're doing a fabulous job. But there's so much more out there. There's so much more that's possible. And the only thing that stops us from looking at and actually creating this more possibility is where we are refusing to change.
And I've noticed if people ask that question, they sometimes go into this space that, but then I have to do more, then I have to work more, then it's too much. So they stop asking questions. So they basically have this conclusion in their universe that they always have to work more when they ask questions.
My point of view is that if you really love and enjoy what you're doing, do you mind doing more? If you come to that conclusion or that point of view that if I keep changing or choosing something different, I have to do more, I have to work more, then the first question that you need to ask yourself is, am I really liking what I'm doing? Am I enjoying what I'm doing? Is it make my heart sing? Do I like what I do? Because if you really enjoy what you're doing, you don't mind adding more to your life, and you don't mind doing more because you become a contribution to your life and to the world.
And another great question to ask there, just following on from Chitissa's, is, okay, so if I think this is going to be more work, what would need to change so it wasn't?
Oh, that's a great one. That's really good, yeah. so even keep on asking questions.
Yeah, so you can actually take the feelings that you might have, oh, I don't know where to start. Well, what would need to change so I did? Yeah. Oh, this is going to create more work. Well, what would need to change so it didn't?
Wow. So every so-called problem can become a possibility.
Every problem that you come up with can be a strategic advantage if you're willing to look at it from a different point of view. And this is the secret to all successful businesses, is that they're constantly looking at things from different points of view and constantly asking the question, so what if this wasn't so? What would need to change? And they're the ones that will never get surprised by the future.
Cool. So if you guys want to hear more about this, Steve and Chitissa Bowman are doing a telecall series, 4 times telecall series, starting in May. So you have the possibility to ask them questions about your business and get these amazing questions back that you can use to create your business. So please join us in May.